All right, come on, listen. Now, what the Lord is about us. Everybody. Reduce the background noise. Assalamualaikum to everyone. I welcome you all to the second day, to the day 2 of the TP Academy Parenting Conference. Yesterday was an amazing session, and we thank every one of you for honoring our invites. I'm also grateful to all of our speakers for the amazing content that they have given to us. The feedback was quite amazing, and we are so proud and so elated to be doing this today. So if you are not here yet, if you are not ready for this yet, if your friend is not here, that parent in your compound is not here, that parent that you know about is not here, please share this video with them and get them to join us. Share this video with them to have them join us so we can benefit together and make the world a better place together. So make sure you're sharing this video live with your friends. If you're watching us on YouTube, share this video with your friends. If you're watching us on our Facebook page group, you can share the link with your friend to ask them to send in their request. They are going to accept their friend their request. And if you're watching on my personal page, you can also share with your friends. We are streaming live this particular session on 3 platforms. We have our personal page, my personal page, Shakirat Oluokun. We also have the TP official YouTube page, TP Parenting Academy, stroke always Shakaro. You're also going to see, for those that are in our Facebook group, you're going to see this particular video live now. So it's 11 o'clock on dot now, and we are going to be having our speaker join us in a bit. I think he's almost here. You've sent the link to him, so we should expect him anytime from now. Yesterday's session was amazing, and believe me that this session is going to be much more amazing. So make sure that you are prepared for this, because it's going to be a wow session. And today's topic that we're going to be addressing is the topic, how to raise lifelong learners. How can parents, what are the roles of parents in that particular aspect? We live in a world that today they encourage you, people say knowledge is scam, learning is scam, this is that, and that is that. How can we actually encourage our kids to embrace one of the values that is critical for them to lead, to be leaders? So it's our duty as parents to do that to our kids. And this my session is all about that. How can you change that mentality of your child, that somebody is telling that what knowledge is a scam, learning is scam, school is a scam, things like that. And knowledge, what does it mean? Is knowledge just limited to the 4 walls of the classroom? Is knowledge limited to what they learn in school? Is knowledge about whatever they see in their environment? They must just say, I just want to learn because they say that it's good for us to learn. You need to get it right yourself as a parent, as to know the kind of knowledge you want your child to cultivate or to emulate. So that is why we are putting this together. What kind of knowledge should your child have? What should they emphasize? What should they look out for when they are also seeking knowledge from other people? What are the qualities that should guide them for them to not just fall victim of when people say, these people they are coach, they are this, they are that. So your child can see, especially your teenager, they can see that this person, they are the qualities that I must look before I can call somebody a knowledgeable person. So this session is going to be amazing. I hope you're sharing the video. I hope you're sharing this live session. I hope you're prepared with your writing materials, because it's important that we write. I have my own here already, and I'm going to be backstage soon. Immediately the lecturer is available, so I can also get value and jots. Make sure you're writing down. That's one of the skills that we must also teach our kids, to be able to jot. When you come to a learning gathering, one of the things you must have with you is your writing materials. Don't say I will remember it. Your brain is limited in function. You can forget, because it's human to forget. So get your writing materials, get your pen, and make sure you are following us back to back. We have just 1 hour for this amazing session, but in that 1 hour, believe me, you're going to be wow. May Allah ease it for us. So I don't know if our lecturer is here. Sister Khadija, is he here?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, we're going to introduce a lovely speaker to this section. So this our lovely speaker is an award-winning writer and the author of the book, The Beautiful Names of Allah, the beautiful name of Allah for Muslim children. So I trust him for his qualification. So also this speaker at the Dawa Institute of Nigeria. He contributed to the review of the infamous train and trainers course premier for secondary school students, aimed at clearing the misconceptions young Muslims have about Islam, which he taught at the New Horizons College at Smina, and is currently working on his next two books. If They Ask Me About Allah and La ilaha illallah, which will be published inshallah by October. So join me in welcoming our lovely speaker for today, Mr. Ibrahim Jima.
Jazakallah khan for that. Thank you very much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much
It's my pleasure.
for
It's my
honoring
pleasure
our
to be here. It's my pleasure to be here to share with amazing parents and individuals. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept these as acts of worship from us, and may He make it beneficial for each and every one of us.
Allahumma ameen. So I think I'll have to go back. I'll have to be backstage now. I need to go for my son's graduation. It's already disturbing that I should come and take my clothes and go and let's go. So please bear with me. Just let's have it fun. I'll follow you on the other end, inshallah. So please can remove me from the.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. Am I positioned well, or I should tilt
No,
this?
I think yeah, you can change the position, sir.
Okay, I think it's okay like this.
It's okay. Now.
All right. Now.
Sir. So the first question we have for you today, sir, is that what is your overall view about seeking knowledge, especially so want to take this from the Islamic perspective, though we know that there are non-Muslims here, but we want to take this from the Islamic perspective. So what is your overall view about seeking knowledge? Thank you.
Well, alhamdulillah wa alamin, rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Seek refuge from Allah, away from shaitan, they are caused, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah's blessings be upon the noblest of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, and everyone who follows his footpath. So knowledge generally, when we look at the term knowledge, we will see from it's even beyond what do I feel, or what does individual person feel. It's about when we look at the genesis of even life and everything, we'll see that everything is built on knowledge. That is why you will see in so many verses in the Quran when Allah talks about Adam and the angels and what transpired between among them, you'll see Allah talks about knowledge a lot. Allah talks about knowledge. Allah says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah. Allama Adam al-asma'a kullaha." So Allah taught Prophet Adam all the names of everything, that even the angels did not know. And Allah asked the angels, that superiority of knowledge, Allah gave it to Adam, that he made the angels, to recognize the superiority of knowledge. And Allah will say, وَفَوْقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ إِلْمًا. Allah will say in so many verses of the Quran, like this, Allah says, وَفَوْقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ إِلْمًا. Allah's knowledge encompasses all things. So when we look at one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim, the all-knowing, the one who knows, because even within the law, in our own context, they will say ignorance is not an excuse. So you have to show the importance of knowledge. So Allah knows, He's the all-knower. He knows everything that happens, and the essence of knowledge is that it takes one away from being in a place of unaware, in a place of ignorance, into knowing. And aside that, it takes one away from darkness into light. So we see in several, even verses of the Quran, where Allah would associate or attribute knowledge to light and ignorance to darkness. So when Allah wants to talk about the time before the advent of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the time when people would bury their daughters alive because they felt the female child is inferior. They don't have anything to do. They felt they owned the child. They owned the female child. They could do anything with it. They could buy them, use them anyhow, and then dump them whenever they want. They wish. So Allah talks about knowledge. Allah says those period of when people do all those things, there is promiscuity, there is rampant of worship of idols, and so many evils, oppression and the likes. Allah referred it to the period of Jahiliyyah, period of ignorance. So it is even when one is ignorant that you find all these evils. Evils spread when one is ignorant. And in Islam, when we can't talk about Islam without talking about the Quran. So we'll see that I'm just trying to show us that even from Allah created the heavens and the earth with his knowledge. So you see Allah, so many verses of the Quran, more than you see, there are above 50. As Allah calls Al Alim, Ilman, and the likes like that. So from the Prophet Adam, Nuhu, and the likes, they call their people to the way of Allah with knowledge. It is when you know something you'll be able to teach. If you don't know something in law, when I was in school, then we did some law courses. So, and I moved. Some of my best friends are in faculty of law. So they will say there's a term in Latin they call, I don't know if I'll pronounce it well, nemo da quod non habet or something. You cannot give what you don't have. So if you don't have something, you can't give it. If you can't give what you don't have. So for us to be able to move from that period or that place of ignorance or that place of not knowing, being aware, so we have to be knowledgeable. We have to pursue knowledge. We have to be to pursue knowledge, to become aware of even ourselves. So all the prophets, Allah talked about them as being knowledgeable. They are knowledgeable of what they came to preach, and they did that excellently till the advent of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where you see the first five verses Allah revealed to the Prophet actually talked about knowledge. Allah said, "Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq." So out of the curiosity of the Prophet going to the cave era to ponder upon the creation, to ponder upon the magnificent sense of Allah and everything like that, Allah sent angels to him to teach him. Allah said, "Iqra, read, recite, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, in the name of your Lord who created." So you can see even those verses talk about knowledge, and so many verses of the Quran extols knowledge for us to pursue knowledge. So Islam gives so many examples. You see so many examples in the Quran. In fact, I don't want to go into the hadith. So many examples are in the Quran where Allah talks about knowledge, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked about knowledge. Like for example, when during the battle, one of the battles, then one of the criteria for releasing of the captives was for them to teach some Muslims how to read and write before they will be released. So that, if you arrest someone, if you catch someone, if someone becomes a captive of war, it's very difficult to just release that person. Now, those people were being released on the condition that they would teach some Muslims who couldn't read and write. So that shows that the essence and the rank of knowledge in Islam.
Now, from what you've said now, I gain a lot of things. Part of those things that if like Islam has already prioritized seeking knowledge from of or seeking knowledge for us, and one of those things, just like what you just said now, is that when during after the how do I put it, after the end of a particular war, so they used to tell those captives to teach them, like to teach before they can be, is it before they can be released, right?
Yes,
To
before
teach
they
before they
could,
can,
yes,
so
before they could gain
just
their
instead of
freedom.
collecting, they can always collect money. I mean, they can always collect different things, but just because that knowledge is more value than all these material things, so that's why they will tell them to, okay, teach before you can be released, and that's love. That's so, how do I put, that's enlightening. Like it tell us that knowledge is very, very vital.
Yeah.
So, moving on to our next question, sir. So, what kind of knowledge do or should we encourage our children to seek? Like, can you give us concrete examples of type of knowledge that we can encourage our children to seek?
Well, alhamdulillah, well, I mean, when we talk about knowledge, um, a lot of persons limit knowledge to just being able to read and write. So that is one of the things, one of the problems we are facing in the world today. You see a lot of parents or a lot of individuals just, they just want to say, okay, I just want to be able to read and write, or to go to the school and then to learn in the school. So knowledge, that is part of it. Hmm? So it's part of it. When you say um people talk about the four walls, these days people say school has scam, or school is scam. School is not a school is not scam. So we don't, because we go to school to pursue knowledge. So we go to school to get enlightened. We go to school to improve our social currency in the world, and to make the world better, to learn things that will make us be a source of change in the world. But it does not end there. So we don't limit knowledge to the four walls of the school. So we don't say, okay, just read and write, and that is where many parents get it wrong. So there are so many ways in which learning comes. So learning, we learn by, like, for example, when you have a child passes through different stages before they get to maybe young adults. So you have them at the infant stage, the toddler stage, the preschooler stage. So we could group that into the age group of 0 to 7. So we have infants, when they are just given birth to, toddler when they start crawling and doing all those moving around and the likes, and then we have the preschooler stage. So this stage are grouped into three. Um, they are grouped together. So we could say that they are 0 to 7. And then we have when a child moves, now they are aware of the environment, they are aware of themselves. The child does not want to bat outside because they know they have, okay, yeah, people should not be looking at me outside. They want to cover their aura and a lot of things like that. So they move on to the preteen stage. And then the preteen stage starts from around the 8 to 11 years. So that is the preteen stage. At this stage, the child itself has lots of self-awareness, and then they could relate to so many things in their environment. And then before they move on to the teenage year, that is the early teenage years, that is from 12 to 14, where now they form their own opinion, they want to follow, they want to move around with peers, they seek validation, they look for bigger things to go into. Uh, Rather than just looking at their parents at home. So at the earlier stage, they look at their parents as their role models and the like. So when we talk about knowledge encompasses just going to the school to learn, to read and write. I took my child to school. My child is attending the best school. Yes, alhamdulillah, I are taking your child to school. They are learning. They can speak even the British accent, and speak in speak in maybe British accent, and then speak fluently. But it goes beyond that. So some of the knowledge, some of the learnings we have to inculcate in our children. Uh, you have life skill. So we have life skill. Life skills could be self-defense. How could the child defend himself or herself from bullies? It happens a lot, even in school, and that is one of the psychological effects that later affect children as they grow up when they are being bullied very early from their uh, at school or in their neighborhood. So you have to teach the child life skill, how to survival skills, life skills, even skills at home, domestic, how to be um, self-sustaining, how to sustain themselves. Mommy is not around, daddy is not around. What are you to do at home? The plates are dirty. Are you just going to look to leave them? So I was reading one of our father's write-up yesterday, Mr. who is one of the speaker, Kukuola. So he was, yes, he was trying to categorize the three style of parenting. I said there is permissive, there is authoritative, and then there is the authoritarian level. So some parents, because they just want to, I just go to that school is just what because I want you to be Bill Gates of tomorrow. I want you to be this and that. They prevent their children from getting those skills, from learning how to keep the home. Those are some of the learnings they should get from their early while they are growing up. So how to keep the home, how to clean, how to tidy up themselves, how to comport themselves in the environment, emotional skills. So how to um to 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 have that emotional balance and not to get angry,
Yeah.
with the hair. So you have to, all those skills are part of what children are supposed to learn. And aside that, the first thing a child at the earliest stage, some of the things we are supposed to teach to take our children through, how to the recognition of their Lord, who is Allah,
Yeah.
who is the prophet, who is God, because they are in a place they are finding so many questions for. They want, why is this heaven, why does sun rise and
Yeah, the
set, why
question.
does this? So you have to tell them someone is behind that, and
Yeah.
then you have to show them that Allah is God. God is behind all this work, all these things that are happening, and how to worship Him. What does He require of us? And we're not just on earth to just wobble around and then play. And we can play, but our play should be in
Limitation to
accordance, yes, to what
limitation.
would be accepted. So those are some of the skills, then habits and values like truthfulness, integrity. Mommy is not at home, and you shouldn't go to the kitchen pot and then pick to the soup and pick meat and wipe your mouth and say, since mommy is not at home. So those are some of a child sometimes could exhibit. We have different children, so that is why while some of these values are universal, the style in which we inculcate it into them are different, because some child you tell them once they get it. Some you have to you have
Repeat.
to be very firm. Some you have to go gently. You have to
Yeah.
use some to motivate them. So
Yeah, they learn.
those, I think, some other lecturers will talk about some of these styles of
Yeah,
parenting,
they learn.
especially.
Yeah.
So these are some of the skills, knowledge that we have to inculcate in our child from their early stage. Now, it's even dangerous for us because it's not like in the olden days or when we were younger. There's no mobile. We don't have mobile phones, so we are limited to what we see,
Yeah.
what our
They
parents teach
have
us. Now you
they have
have children,
access to
uh,
everything.
children of 2, 3 years. They can just collect your phone, unlock it, move on to the game and play games, and then they can watch things on the phone. They watch TV and the like. So we have to be very careful and then ensure that we tailor our children, especially the early stage. The early stage is the foundation, and we
Yeah.
don't want to get it wrong. So it's just like I did engineering at university. So if you do not mix your concrete, and then you don't have your mixture or your aggregate, you don't have it in the right proportion, then there's a problem. So you see the house will collapse. So we have to intensify our efforts, not just by putting our children in school. I paid 1.5 million at the school. Alhamdulillah, you did that, but you have to be present you have to be present in the life of your children. You have to be present in the life of your children. So a lot of parents just, they are in school, we just neglect them, and that is one of the problems we have. Even with we have now, we see children coming from school and then becoming what the parents would not even have imagined, because they were not out, they were not present in the lives of their children. So all this knowledge have to be there. Parents have to be, they have to know that the children are among from Allah. So the children are sitting down on their own. They are the one that drive them here with the grace of Allah. That so the children should come. So when the children have come now, they should not run away from their responsibility. So it's their responsibility to ensure that these skills, these learnings are are impacted on these children as they grow up. They will make mistakes. They will make lots of them. We made mistakes, lots of it. So, but that is how the learning stages would go. So it is from there that they get to know, and they get better, and they become better ambassadors of Islam, better ambassadors of their parents that the parents will be proud of, and then the society and the world at large will be proud of.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was enlightening. And from what I mean, what I gained from what you said is that knowledge is important in every stage of our life, and in every stage of our life. And you said from it starts from infancy. Knowledge starts from infancy, and the type of knowledge we can seek is not limited to going to school alone. We have other things like seeking life skills, then life skills, survival skills, domestic skills, even learning how to relate with people, a bit learning what to do at the right time, like learning knowing what to do at the right time. So knowledge encompasses everything, and it's not limited to going to school. So thank you very much.
Mm. And even one, I think now there's a time that people say, they say street sense.
Yeah,
So,
space.
sometimes, parents want to be too, they just want to protect their children away from the society. Lots of evil are going on in the society. But
Exactly.
sometimes you want to have to strike a balance, because you don't want to overprotect your child, and then you can't protect them to the end of their life. So they will have to still come out. So
Out,
there are
yeah.
some things some skills like you still inculcate in them to be able to function properly, so that they do not look at
Weird.
themselves like as if they are alien in the society when they now eventually go out to the society. So everything should be balanced, and inshallah Allah would help the child and the parents.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Now make it easy. Now, the next question I have for you here is that how can parents be positive models to children in the area of seeking knowledge and being a lover of it? How can they be positive models to children in the area of seeking it and being a lover of it? Now,
Well, like I'll start from the quote I made earlier, that you cannot give what you don't have.
yeah,
So a lot of a mistake most of us do. If I should ask everyone, okay, let's say, what field, what is that thing that requires uh, it requires management, it requires management skills, psychological skills, it requires teaching, it requires emotional skills, it requires um, all those skills. That's the question. If we ask, what is that thing that is most neglected, that we don't even, a lot of us jump into, we just feel like parenting is something that is inbuilt. Just when you give birth, you just parents, none.
yeah,
You take care of them. No, at least you
to be
send them
more.
to school, you buy things for them, you just train them. But it is with from studies that has been shown that it is not always like that, especially with the change, the dynamic, the changing in culture, the changing in our way of life and everything around us. The way we live now, at least, is a bit, or we'll say, is different from the way our forefathers or some generations lived before. So also the challenges we are facing, the challenges we are facing now will be different from some of the challenges they are facing. So it's the dynamics are changing, and then we are required to adapt to find ways to evolve and be on top of the game. So a lot of individuals go into, we plan our degrees. It takes us 16 years for us to get a degree. After that, we go for advanced degree before you will not just you will not just give your car to anybody. You want to ensure the person is a mechanic before the person will repair your car for you. We don't just call anyone from the streets to say, I want to build a house, so just build 3-bedroom flat for me. You want an engineer. So we even go in there to say, okay, who is the structural engineer? Who is the architect that will draw? So also parenting, for us to parent our children to love knowledge, to love seeking knowledge, to have that habit, that flair for knowledge accumulation, for knowledge seeking. It has to start from us. It has to start from us because we can't give what we don't have. So if you are the type that when we look at ourselves now, like just let me ask a question. Like, since Ramadan has finished, how many of us have completed the Quran? At least it has taken almost 3 months now. So we are in the next. So from Ramadan, Shawwal, Shaban, Zulqa'dah, Zulhijjah, 4 months. So we've some persons, they've left their Quran on the shelf, or probably you hardly even read. Some persons, they hardly even observe their Salah on time. Some persons, is this, you say, when have you read last? They say, hey, you have some people say, I just had to Paris school. I just had to Paris school. So some persons say, since we've left school, I've not even opened the newspaper to read anything. They cannot even read, they say, read. So oftentimes we are forced to read because we have an exam. And that is one of the things we should try to correct for our children. Reading, learning should not be because you have an exam. The final exam is there to test you. But at least beyond the exam, it should be because you are genuinely interested to improve your curiosity, to improve your skills, to improve your knowledge, and to be able to increase your capacity to do more, and to be able to give back to the society and to yourself. So parents have to, or I'll say now I'm talking to even people before they become parents. Now some people are getting ready to get married. They want to get married. It should be part of the habits they build, that okay, we love knowledge, we love to read. Everyone should love to read. I don't know what your interests are, but at least you should have some interest in something you read in. If you have your interest is in religions, then you delve into it, you read, find time to read, find time to read. So there's a saying that says the one who can read and does not read has no advantage, or there's no difference between it from the one who cannot even read at all. So, and a very sad quote that people used to say, want to keep something worthy from a black man, you put it inside a book, because the black man will not even open the book to read, which I don't believe to be. So we should not make those kind of quotes, those kind of sayings to be our way of life. So as individuals, even before becoming parents, we should try to inculcate the habit of learning, the habit of reading, trying to learn more, to read more, to know more. It is with these that some of our biases will be left behind, because we all have our biases. So some of them are good, some of them are bad and dangerous. So when you read, you are enlightened, you learn more about other people's culture, you learn more about something you are very curious about and interested in. Then you get enlightened and you become a better person in that area. So learning is something that is very very important. For example, when I was growing up, even though our parents were poor, so alhamdulillah, we had some libraries around. I grew up in the island, Lagos Island. So there's a library in CMS. There's one at Tom Jones. There's one at the police station, police post at Jankara. So we have so many libraries there. So Alhamdulillah, we took opportunity of those libraries to read. Our parents would use every opportunity they have. Sometimes as gifts, they buy books for us. They don't prevent us from reading. So it enables us to read wider and then aspire even to greater heights, because it is what you know. When you read, you tend to aspire for things that are even greater and then push for it. So parents have the responsibility to teach, not only teach, but to show their children the
Model.
importance of learning, the importance of knowledge. So you can't compare a child who grows up to see his father probably every morning before he goes to work, he reads something, and the child will come. So the child gets to self-awareness that daddy used to read something. Or a child whose father every morning, maybe after sober, is his habit to recite the Quran at home. Maybe even if it's a page. The child will come around. Sometimes they even tear the Quran, and that is where they get to know, okay, daddy is doing this thing. So it's easier to say, do this thing. While you are doing it, the child will know, okay, this is the thing that he is doing, so he wants me also to do it, than to just want to dictate rules which you are not following. You are not
Following.
reading, you are not learning, but you want your child to learn and to read. It will be difficult. It will be very difficult. So we have to be our children's companion in learning. We have to be our children's companion in learning. There is a study I read about that a psychologist carried out. They put children from the age 2 to 6 or so. So they put a kind of musical tone by their bedside whenever they wanted to sleep, and as the child will wake up, the child wakes up, and then for over the years, for I think over 2 years or so, and then they discovered that the children, they picked, they picked because it was something they were hearing every time they were
Listening
listening to.
to.
Even
Yeah.
the subconscious mind picks a lot. So you have to ensure that these children, what you want them to do, at least you are trying to do them at home. They are seeing you that you are making efforts to do them, and you are encouraging them, buying them books, taking them to where would motivate them to learn, teaching them the importance of knowledge, stories of people who have pursued knowledge, and knowledge have made them to be great people in life. And all these things will make them to have the curiosity, the flair for knowledge, and want to learn more. So we have to do more than dictate to our children. This is just read your book or paso and the life, and then we leave everything to the teachers. We don't leave things to teachers in school. One of the mistakes parents make today also, they just delegate their parenting to the teachers. Some of them we're paying the teachers, so they should do their job. Some don't even assist their children with their homework, with their assignment.
Achieving.
So they bring it back to school like that. And that is why you see that there is a gap. When there is a sudden holiday for children, let's say 1-2 months or 3 months, you see some children, they come back to school, and then it's as if you are starting afresh with them. So what you've even learned, they've even forgotten, because at home there's no one to help to assist them, no one to monitor them, no one to continue on what the work of the teachers at school. So it's a collaborative effort. While the teachers are doing this, the parents have to be doing theirs at home. So I recommend for toddlers, even infants, read to them. Yes, your child is 1 year, 2 years, read to them. Yes, let them come to you. Let them see you reading. They will come. They want to mimic you. Yes, that is when some children you see this child is just 2 years. He has memorized some verses of the Quran. They are mentioning some adkar. It's because that is what they are hearing from their parents or from people in their surrounding. So it is very good for us to be intentional and also to ensure that as our children are going, we find a suitable environment. We find a suitable environment to put them in so that they would learn. Yoruba do say one proverb. They will say, "Ojú méjì ló ń bímọ, àbí ojú mẹ́rin ló ń bímọ, ìgbà
Would
ojú
you?
ló ń tọ́." Like,
Yeah.
so we have two eyes. It's two, two parents. The parents
Parents,
give birth to the child, but
then
it
the
is
community
multiple
raise the
eyes.
child.
The
Multiple
community
guys
that teaches
raise
the child.
yeah,
So you have to be very intentional. If your environment is also the time that is drawing you back, probably you should try to find a way to adjust adjust. Some parents, you cannot just control what goes on in the environment. The environment is very porous nowadays, so you have to be very careful. The friends your children will move along with, so you have to create that part. So children are like, I would liken children to like, so if you want to burn bush, yes, if you want to burn a part of your bush, you
yeah.
know, sometimes when we're being agric, you have to be the one to guide where the fire would go. Else the fire will consume all the whole farm. So
Exactly.
children, as they are very curious. They want to learn, they want to know. If you don't teach your children, if you don't put them in the right track of learning what is beneficial to them, they will learn anyway. Just that what they will learn would be of the other side, would be something they would find a way to involve themselves in something. And we don't exist in a vacuum. They would always feel that time they are supposed to be using to learn beneficial things, to memorize the Quran, to learn how to help you in the kitchen. So some parents, one of the things they do, parents are in the kitchen, with the mother is in the kitchen. The child who is at the age to start learning some things are sitting at the parlor waiting for their mommy to just bring the food. When they finish the food, it's also their mother that packs the plate away. So those are some of the skills we should learnings we should give to our children. Something happened during the last World Cup. They discovered that, I think, Korea or Japan, I think it's Japan, after they were knocked out of I think from the quarterfinals or so, second round, they discovered that their dressing room, and their hotel were well tidy. In fact, there was nothing else for the cleaner to come and clean. There was nothing else for the cleaner to come and clean. Everywhere is just so tidy up, and it was said to be their culture. Like, it is their national culture. They are always people who like to tidy up things. They don't leave things. They don't leave dirt anyhow. So those are some of the things we all like. That thing that someone someone tidies up this place. Things are not dirty. Everywhere is clean and neat. Things like that build. It increases productivity also. So we teach our children all these things. We don't leave them behind and just say, let them look after themselves. After all, they are there. They'll just play. And we sometimes, I know it's tiring. Taking care of children, raising them, teaching them to learn can be a very daunting effort. But we have to play our part. We have to put our trust in Allah and do our job, because it's our job for us to train them. It is the work we do today that will give us joy and peace of mind tomorrow, for us to rest and say, okay, I've trained this child, and the child is becoming a good ambassador, is bringing in laurels for us, is bringing in praises for us. They'll ask you, where is this child? And people want to associate with him. Parents who are not even their people who are not his parents or our parents will say, this is our child.
Yeah.
It's a good child that everyone wants to claim to be our child. When the child is bad, the society, the sons, they will point the finger to the parents out. So we have a role to ensure that learning is made smooth for our parents. If we don't have for our children, if we don't have the capacity to buy them books, teach them, then we should find an environment in which this thing that comes easily, that we can that our children will learn from, and then also we are very present in our children's life. So from with this, and with us being a role model for them, inshallah they'll pick up the zeal. So when the zeal, just like when you start a car, the inertia is what is mostly difficult. When you've overcome that inertia, then it's easy for for the movement. It's easy to carry yourself and then move to uh, further places or greater heights. So when the zeal has been developed, then the child would individually pursue knowledge itself. So our own parents started somewhere, at least along the way, we just knew that we are just wanting to, we crave more, want to know more. This book is there, I'll go and read it tomorrow. If I couldn't buy the books, so we'll go and read it tomorrow. Borrow me your book. Let me say I saw a book with you. So these are things to help our children, with, and especially we should ensure that the knowledge of Islam, the upbringing of in the way of God, inculcating right values in them, and then ensuring that we lead by example, we lead them and be their role model is very essential. So inshallah, with this, they'll be able to, on their own, as they get into teenage years, um, to further on themselves with little guidance from us. So they will even be the one pushing us. That I want to buy. I saw a book there. I want to buy. I saw this with my friend. I want to go for this course. I saw this. Then this my friend can do this. I want to do this. So it's when we that foundation, right, that they would be able to pick on from there, and it will help us to help us, because as we are being role model for them, we are teaching them, helping them to grow in knowledge. We are also learning, and we are also moving. We're also moving forward.
Yeah, thank you very much. So just to summarize all what you said, that children actually become who we are. Like if we are the type that used to seek knowledge, read about different things, teach, like for us, just like one of our sisters said here, that she said children learn more by what they see, as what they see you do as parent and what you say. So it's not just by telling them that to do this, do that. You have to model it for them. They have to see you that, yeah, they have to see that you are also doing those things that you are telling them. So with that, it will be very effective to like to teach them that habit of seeking knowledge. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So the next question, yes, is that, yeah, as we all know that we are now in the technology era. So how can we maximize this era proactively to enhance positive learning for our kids? How can we proactively enhance positive learning for our kids?
Okay, so basically there are four learning styles. So we have the visual learning through seeing. We have the auditory, which is through hearing. And that is why you will see even someone who is blind will memorize the Quran,
Yeah,
because he has been taught to learn. We learn by hearing, we learn by seeing. Also, we learn by, they call it tactile, by touch. So for us to, so some, when we feel some things, so we learn from. So that's why a child would touch something hot now, and then the child learns that don't touch this thing again. It should bring pain to you. So
by
we
feeling.
learn by touch, by yes, by feeling. Then we learn by we call it kinesthetic, by
Yeah.
doing, yes, by doing and moving. So we do that more in even sports, and so all these uh, have to be combined. And technology is there to amplify whatever we want to use it for. So that is why you see technology, when people say is technology evil or good. So it depends on what we are using it for. And that is why, because there are no distinction, everything is mixed together now. So you can be even watching some good educational content, and then something pop up, maybe someone stripping and advertising something, and maybe we are trying to teach your child something, and then that pops up. You don't want that to happen. So those are some of the side effects of it. So you have this technology has been made in such a way that they created. So for example, YouTube now has for children. So
Yeah.
you can set some of these gadgets to children only, to their children mode, child mode. So that anything that is played are things that your children, your child can watch. Even at that, um, even the evils of this world now. Like for example, you talk about the LGBT and like people they are teaching it, they are stepping it down to even what the child will know. So parents have to be careful about technology, leaving their child to just just go ahead and and make use of technology. So we have to play a kind of monitoring role with this. So there's nothing stopping your child. We have seen children of 10, 11 years being software developers, knowing how to develop app, games, and things like that. So these are some of their skills of this century. And we shouldn't, because technology is evil. There are lots of evils on the media, or there are lots of evil in technology, deny our children entirely from this. So we should find a way, we should strike a balance between taking them through, or putting them through avenues where they will learn how to use this. So we could have a time at home. So let's say I have a child of 4 years or 5 years. So we could have a time, maybe there's a particular show that has been aired on the TV. For example, when we were young, we watch all these uh, Milo Lasky standing and all. I think it still showed it to sometimes. So Milo Lasky time, take a step, and what again? So many educative shows on the TV that you would be proud to say, okay, my child is watching TV, because you have less of music and all those things. But nowadays is the reverse is the case. So you hardly find any educational content that a child will say. So parents should be careful with TV. For me, I don't have TV. I have TV. I think it's just I don't have TV in my house. It's not as if one can buy, but at least you just discover that without these things, we can even live. We can you can
Mhm.
you can
We
live,
don't
and then
we don't even need TV these days. We have laptop, we have
you
phone, we
can
have
live, and then so parents have to ensure that they don't, parents have to, because some of them they want to buy time. I want to read, well, this child is, as you are disturbing me. Just go and watch TV, go and watch TV. We should try as much as possible to lessen the time. In fact, if it is possible at some point in their life, to take it away completely, so that the child does not get addicted to it. So you have to limit to a drastic level the time your child spends on the TV. You don't give, from my own principle. I don't. Um, I believe a child should not be given um, a phone until they get to a stage of a stage of awareness. Even at that, at their early preteen or teenage years, probably you want to give them, because now they will step out of the home. They will need to call you. You have to know where they are. Everything. But if you've trained your child well, uh, and make them recognize the benefits and the evils of these things before they enter that stage, then you can be rest assured that at least, alhamdulillah, they will be able to manage the tension that comes from there. A lot of children now, 14, 15, they're entering university, and, entering the tertiary institution even while they are teenagers, early in their early teenage years. And they have all these mobile phones, all in the name of I want to learn, I want to learn. They are exposed to lots of things that are not that will not help them progress, that would corrupt their mind and not make them progressives. So we as parents are to take advantage of these tools. There are lots of toys that are good. So anything we want to use for our children at home at all, it has to be reviewed by us, the parent, before we bring them. Even when we get gifts, sometimes some persons just say you have to first vet it.
vet
For
it.
example, a father, he bought a copy of my book, and uh, I think a week later, I sent a review. He said, I've read through everything. Now I can give it to my daughter. These are
Wow.
some of the observations I noted. And I was like, wow, so you first read everything through
Of course.
before you gave it to your daughter. So parents have to be proactive and know what their children are. You don't just, I saw beautiful books at the bookshop, I just buy for my children. Lots of misinformation are being passed through some of these books. So you have to ensure that you vet them, this technology, use them, but use them in a very proactive way.
Yeah.
Ensure that you guide these children. Yes, just like the wildfire I talked about the other time. So if you leave it to them, the children, they would be derailed by lots of distractions. And even we adults, we cannot even concentrate. Sometimes I had to, at a point, I had to download a snooze app to help me just snooze all they have when I want to work, because these are taking our, you can't focus, limiting our focus, our retentive retentiveness, how to retain what we've learned
Simulate. Yeah.
it is weakening. Yeah, it's weakening because we are not being focused in what we are doing. So if a child likes TV too much, then the child, even when you ask him to learn or how to learn, the child, our mind will always be at the TV. Let's finish this thing, let's finish this, and the TV will be the major thing. So we should design our children's lives around this technological. So there are lots of, even in schools now, you have board, I think electronic boards that so the teachers use to the children. Children can watch some clips on these. So these are some of the improvements that technology brings to us to make our life easy, to make learning even fun. So, but all in all, parents should be at the forefront to to check, to go to learn about these tools that children want to be on, and to guide them to use it. Sometimes some of these tools, they don't need them at some stage, especially the earliest stage. Children need you more um, physical attention, being present in their life, reading to them, playing with them, playing with them, talking to them, making them to be able to express themselves, building their self-confidence. So the child needs that at the very early stage. So all these things are needed. So when they get to the stage where you want to introduce this to them, then it has to be monitored and guided, and be it has to be monitored and looked into, so that the child does not derail from the path you are trying to set for them.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. That was really enlightening. So from what you said, part of what you said is that technology is there to amplify whatever we are using it for, and as parents, more we must take that proactive role in ensuring that we will review any content we are giving to our children. Probably they want to watch a particular show or read any book. We have to ensure that we know the content of the book. Is this something that is it something they can watch? Is it something that is healthy for those kids? So we have to be very, very proactive with the usage of technology. So thank you very much, sir. So the next question I have, um, it's kind of related to what I just asked now, but it's kind of related to it, that what role of, or what are the roles books and technological tools in this? Okay, so what are the roles books and technology tools? How can we use books and technology tools to enhance learning? How can we use books and technology tools to enhance learning?
Well, books are generally books. Any kind of book generally would enhance learning, in as much as um, it addresses the audience they want to address. But aside that, even books nowadays, you see, it has gone to another level. Even me as an adult, I find it very difficult to just to pick books that are not books have to be, they should at least, that is that, and this advice goes to authors and people writing books, especially for children. When one gets to the adult stage, at least you are more concerned about the knowledge. But for children, they want to, they still want to have fun learning. So ensure that um, the books we are writing are colorful, are very explanatory for them, that it's something they always want to go and carry. They want to learn. So children should be they should be wowed by knowledge. They should always want to go to
Colorful
learn.
books,
They
yeah.
should also want to learn. Yes, they should also want to. Ah, mommy, I want to
Something that
read.
will
I want to
inspire
read.
them to, yeah.
So it should get to a stage where you would not be the one dragging them or trying to pursue them to learn. They will be the one trying. They will be the one. Uh, they will be the one. They will be the one making motivating you to buy even more books because they finished it. They learn faster. They read faster. They ask questions, and you are driving their career. They are even asking you questions. As they're asking you questions, sometimes you just discover you two are the Olodo in the house. So you have to up so you have to up your game. You have to learn about things. You to start seeking knowledge because you don't want to sound like a moron in the front of your child, or you don't want to just everything mommy does not know. Everything I ask daddy, daddy will just say I don't know. So you also want to know. So they drive you also to knowledge. So um, book should be in such a way that books generally are things that drives to knowledge. They improves our curiosity and they make us better. But we should try as much as possible to make books that are colorful. When I was in secondary school, then despite having some other textbooks like Abbott and chemistry, having Lambert, I think some of these chemistry textbooks, I still prefer the new school chemistry. Say yeah, Babi. I don't know. I cannot even forget that name. Say yeah, Babi, because the textbook is so beautiful. Any production, new school physics, new school chemistry, the presentation is so beautiful. You see birds, you see all these beautiful pictures there. And then even as adults, then you see that any colorful thing, just there's any colorful thing, even adults want to just pick and learn and read. So make this make these books colorful for them to read. And for parents, we should strive as much as possible to invest in the knowledge in buying books for your kids, uh, taking them to maybe summer lesson. Sometimes it might just be a summer coaching, maybe just an experience they will feel with some other children where they have experience to read, to share, to learn. So avenues of learning or sharing with some other children will boost their self-confidence. And also the technology side. So uh, there are so many things. Some things we just I think there was a time a Quran was so fast, and I think the Quran is still being made now. When you touch it with a pen, you start reading with a reciter. When you
Wow.
touch or when you touch with you press maybe you want Mishari to read and you just move it around the text of the Quran and you start reading in the voice of Mishari
Oh,
and things like that. So these are technology. Even some of our apps can help us to memorize the Quran. Some of these things, technology has been inbuilt into virtually everything, every aspect of our life, including learning. So it's our duty to seek them. So I see even parents now we are guilty because you see when we want to do something, want to invest, want to go into a business, we seek knowledge. Please, how do they do the Uber business? What is the return? What are the losses? How do I minimize the loss? How do I maximize the gain? In which area should we? We ask all these questions. But when it comes to our children, we don't want to make effort to know what are some of the books a child of 1 to 2 should be reading. What are
great.
some of
Yeah.
the things I should be teaching? I should be telling him. When the child start blabbing, what should I start saying so that when the child picks up words, they will pick up these beneficial words. What are some of the tools we should I should introduce to this child at this stage? What are some of the gatherings I can in this society I'm living? What are some of the gatherings? Where are places I could take my child to at least to feel the environment in a very safe and reasonable place? We have to be curious also to give them. We have to be a step ahead of them. So we have to be a step ahead of them to don't let it be that it's when your child start forcing himself out to play that you start designing or trying to find a good place for your child to learn. That includes even their friend. That is why they will say, be your select friends for your children. Put them in a place where at least they will grow with good children also, and then they will learn from one another. So it's our role as parents to ensure that we make research about this truth. They are ever evolving. It will be tomorrow now. Some things can come out, and then you say, "This thing is the latest in time to help your child to do this." It's your duty as a parent to be aware of these things and then pick the one that is best for that best suits the learning of your child, and strive also to, may Allah continue to increase our risk. Some of these things come with, you have to spend. So may Allah continue to increase us in risk so that we'll be able to spend on our children, we'll be able to make life we need to make learning easy for them, and then make life easy for all of us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them as they continue to learn, and bless whatever they learn.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So from what you said now is that we should, like, part of those things parents should take note of is, and just like what you said, so that they should practice the act of reviewing those tools their children are using, and also, yeah, also including authors too. They should try to make books inspiring, something that children will always want to read. Something they should make it colorful in such a way that it will motivate those kids to learn. Yeah, thank you very much. So the next question here is that okay, what are the ways, we've talked about like we've talked about we've touched several things, view of
Mm.
like overall view about seeking knowledge. We've talked about how we can the kind of knowledge children can seek and all that. So what are those ways that parents can raise the kids to be lovers of knowledge? What are those ways? What are those things we can do to make sure that our children love seeking knowledge? What are those things we can do, sir?
Okay, first and foremost, you have to drive the curiosity from the early stage. So driving the curiosity are part of the things we talked about earlier. At leading by example. You want your child to start reading at the early stage. You to start reading to them. Start start reading to them. Start bringing them around you whenever you want to. Whenever you want to read, whenever you want to do some things, make them around you. You are reading the Quran, let them sit with you. Let them just play around. That is why the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam encourage us to take the prophets will encourage us to let children come to the masjid. We have in so many narrations where the children of Ali, Hassan and Said, will come to the prophet, who is their uncle, will come, and or the grandfather from the um, from Fatima's side, will come to the prophet, will climb on the prophet, and then play around the prophet in the mosque. So these are part of the ways even from example of the prophets, I taught them that they have to learning and being around where learning is taking place. So if you are going to alcohol and your child is just, even if your child is 3, 4, they're not doing anything at home, take them to take them to the alcohol circle of learning. You're going to you're going to places where you learn. There's nothing stopping you from taking your child. Maybe if the child is the one that is very quick in knowledge, very quick in learning, and very calm. You can even take them to some of the. They're going to for some conference. They talk about something. At least there they may. It should just be like, wow, they're talking about these things. Maybe I don't understand, or the child will aspire to be. This person is talking on the stage. Look at how he's speaking. Look at how the presentation is given. Look at the examples. Me too, I want to be like that person when I grow. So you are helping the child to build the curiosity, and to build the zeal for knowledge. So also, aside buying books, it's unfortunate that most of our libraries now are being turned to something else. Like at the time, I discovered that all this library I mentioned earlier around Lagos Island they've been shut down. You hardly find libraries you can go to and sit and read. So it's very bad for a society that wants to progress to shut down the centers of knowledge. So we have to ensure that our children are Our children are being encouraged to visit libraries to learn, to go in circle of knowledge, not only in terms of reading books and writing, like I said earlier. Like learning is it encompasses, it goes beyond all those just learning, reading, writing. So avenues where take them to avenues where they practice sports in an halal way, especially for females. So there's nothing stopping you as parents from finding ways. Okay, I have a child of maybe 5, 6. Let them start learning taekwondo, or start learning karate, or start learning martial arts for self-defense. You know, boost their physical strength. All this sports sometimes majorly it makes one humble. Yes, you cannot you're humble with the skill. Most of the time it's part of the training they teach with the skill. So if you're learning karate, you're learning taekwondo, all this thing. So they teach you humility, they teach you to control your inner strength, to be patient and the likes like that, how to run away from harm or to take you. So all these learnings, you have to, from the early stage, make your child try as much as. I know it's very difficult, especially for people who live in the city like Lagos. You have to move from there, traffic and the like. But at least as you are planning to give birth to your child, you want to venture into child rearing, and then you want to become parents, then you should be thinking about these things so that it doesn't come as a shock that there's nothing I can do, I'm just helpless. So before you become helpless, you should start to make plans, start to make adjustments, start to take your notes. Also, try to set goals for your own family too, so that when the children finally comes, it helps you because it's just like someone has a business plan. If you have a business plan, the goal of the business plan is to help you, set the business aright, even and then make adjustments along the line. So if you have your goals, you have your plan beforehand, then it helps you. It makes the work easier. But even aside that, so take your child to the centers, to the library, let them know the libraries. So some of us, our children does not even know the library in our environment. You say, okay, where is the library? They don't know because we've not even taken our time to say, okay, today we are going to the library. Let us go to the library to learn. Teach your children selflessness. Like my former boss, whenever there is a charity program going on, and you have to help the less privileged. Despite he is at the top, he would his children will come around. They will be the one, they will participate in all those. So you feel this person is a big man now. The children are supposed to be at but he is trying to teach the children how to be selfless. So how to be selfless, how to help others, how to not, to lower their shoulders and come to the ground with people, relate with people, how to relate with people, how to speak to elders, how to not just say because you are privileged, you can do as you wish. So some of these things are ways you have to, things you incorporate on the children to drive their learning, their religious, and take them to find a good Islamic center for them to learn. So our own parent tried. Like for example, when we were young, I know I changed Islamia like 3 times myself. At a point when I get to a stage at the madrasa, then I felt I'm not learning anything new. Then I
Wow.
went to that. I said I started looking for other. I think I was around 11 or so there. I noticed
Wow.
there was one madrasa not far from our house, and I said this is where I want to. I convinced my dad that this is where I want to. So I started going there. From there again, some of these are local madrasas, they don't have a structured curriculum. So without the structured curriculum, when it gets to stage, it's just as if they train the child to just do walima, and then after the
Yeah.
walima, the child, is there, there's nothing to
Yes.
learn. So that is some of the things we missed, even as our parent tried as we are growing up. So we should try as much as possible to cover up that gap. So we should try to take them to where they will learn proper knowledge, and not the time of your children will not be wasted. So invest in in their Islamic knowledge too. I know a lot of us spend thousands, tens of thousands of naira to enroll our children in school. We take them to summer, do lesson, we buy textbooks for them. But to just pay to take them to where they will learn the proper Islamic knowledge, where they will memorize the Quran, we find it difficult. We just feel this is Aiki Allah, it's the work of Allah. Now, why would the Malam
Yeah,
collect money?
a lot of
So,
things.
money is used to help. So the dad also has a family he wants to send. He wants to send his children to school. He has a wife that he has to cater for. He has things that he has to do. The school also wants to build. They want to expand, or they want to employ teachers. So everything needs money. So we should try as much as possible to take their knowledge, their religious knowledge, also serious as we take the mundane knowledge serious. So we should not go extreme to the mundane knowledge, and then we just leave them that they are going to Lekeo, they'll just learn. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you see that what really matters is the God consciousness of your child, how your child has grown to to love his neighbor as himself, to respect you as his parent, to honor you and not to dishonor you even behind your backs, and to be a good ambassador for you, to be a good ambassador for himself, their parents, and the society in which they are going. So lots of people are educated, but we have lots of educated thieves. We have lots of educated murderers. People who don't, their conscience is dead, so they don't have conscience, and it is this taqwa Allah that would help refine knowledge. Someone who is a trained accountant, he is very good in accounting and does not have consciousness of God. The person the person would doctor books. He would doctor the numbers and then siphon the money probably in the company, or as we are seeing now in our nation, where people are taking huge amounts of money from the covers of the government and from the collect from our treasury. So it is the conscience of God that will precede the knowledge the child has, and with this, the child knows that anything he does, Allah is Allah, see that would that would give him report of whatever he has done. Allah is the one that will pay him in whatever ways he has done. He's looking forward to the hereafter, and then he puts forward what is best and become a good ambassador of Islam, and of his parent and of his community wherever he is. So these are ways we can encourage learning. So part of the ways also, I know it's one of the vital ways, one of the important ways we can ensure our children love learning. I know it's one of the tips I said, read to them before they sleep. This could be
Yeah.
very. I think during the last Eid, we went to visit, just to visit one of our sheikh, and then just we used that as a means to learn. So we asked him, because he has, I think, 4 children, and then the first son, who is just I think 12 or 13, I think 12, has completely memorized the Quran. The other
Wow.
sister is already getting set to finish. I think, yeah, she has memorized I think 55 is or so. So it just like 2 juz for her to finish, and then the other two too. I think so. We're just like, okay, so stars. What are some of the ways you use to groom those children to be able to memorize the Quran? And it's just like an enlightenment session for us, that it's even extend to Maghrib time and Isha. So we you ensure that you take charge. The father is very it's the duty of the father to ensure that they take the lead in their home, to make sure that children they enlighten the children. Sometimes the mothers are tired because of the running, the physical
Course.
running
Yeah.
of the house. They want to cook, they want to do this. They may not have that the zeal. Sometimes it may not be there um, at some time. So you want to ensure that you are supportive of your spouse, to ensure that when they are tired to do some of these things, you don't get tired. The children don't feel like, no, I'll just run to one, I'll run to mommy, and the mom will just say, "You just go and sleep, Gary, my people." No, they have to know that whenever it's time to learn, mommy and daddy does not play with learning, and then we have to follow the lay down guidelines we set in the house or in our family to as regards learning. Maybe it is you have to learn before you read something before you sleep early, read maybe 2 pages or memorize the Quran very early after Subhi, and everyone memorizes together, and then use that as their learning time to do alcohol, teach them morals and the like. So these are ways in which we should try as much as possible to inculcate knowledge and to ensure that our children love to learn.
Yeah, thank you very much. That like you said a lot of things, and part of what I learned there is that we should learn to, like, for us to enhance, for us to motivate children to learn, we have to drive their curiosity to learn at early stage. At least we can start by reading to them. I even, like, I'm aware of like a 3 month a 3 month a 3 month old child that already she already has a book. I mean, a book. I was like, 3 months, kilonka, like 3 months in car.
Yes, there are picture books for kids.
Yeah,
They will want,
three
they
months.
will point, they will, by the time they start from picture books, from board books, it's they always want to pick the book to read. Leave them, let them play with it, let them tear some of it. The books are meant to be read, and not just
Exactly,
something that they will get to a stage
exactly.
where, where they will be writing. They also, I've seen teenagers, early teenagers, writing books. How would a teenager start writing books? Because they, from their early stage, they inculcate the habit of reading, reading. It is what you read. When one reads to a certain stage, then you form opinions, you build capacity, and then you'll be able to give out. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and help our children.
I mean, exactly like I answer. So we have the last question for today is that, okay, we've
Okay.
been discussing about learning, knowledge seeking, how we can motivate children to learn. So what do you think? Like, what's the benefit of all this thing? Like, what's the benefit of seeking knowledge on the society, especially these days that we have this slang that book na scam, some will even tell you that big no go school but you get money. I be how like put it, they'll tell you that big job, is it Bill Gates or one of those renowned renowned personality that he dropped out. Then they'll tell you that they even refer to all these musicians like Olamide, he has a lot of money, or none of them went to university and all that. So what's the benefit of seeking knowledge? What's the impact? What impact does seeking knowledge has on the society?
So Alhamdulillah, from the okay, I remember one of the poem. I don't know who authored it, but I think it's one of the books we read when we were young. Then they said, "Man adraka al-ilma ya fata, adrakahu kulla shay'in, ma fatahu ilma ya fata, qad fatahu kulla khairin or kulla shay'in." So what the poet was saying there is that man adraka al-ilma ya fata, whoever gets knowledge, whoever strive in the way of knowledge, whoever has moved with knowledge, whoever possesses knowledge, adraka kulla shay'in, the person has possessed everything.
Wow.
If you possess knowledge, the person has possessed everything. Man fatahu ilma ya fata, whoever lost knowledge, whoever, if you lose knowledge, you are ignorant, then the person does not have anything. He has lost everything. Because this with knowledge, one can lose everything today. For example, I think Thomas Edison, his lab got burnt, and I think he called his child to come and see, or his wife, I've forgotten the narration, that come and see this. And people were amazed that what you spend your entire life on, your laboratory is burning to ashes, everything. And you say, come and see, this will be like, come and see this. this is something you might never see this again. But at least what makes him calm is because the knowledge he had to build that, he could replicate it.
Yeah.
So that is why one of our scholars, I think Imam Shafi said, I think Imam Shafi, al ilmi ma'i, like my knowledge is with me. Wherever I'm going, I don't need to carry textbooks, I don't need to carry the house of books because my knowledge is what is with me.
It's with me.
So you could see someone might lose a lot of things today. Probably the business collapse, but the person would rise back because the person has knowledge, has the capacity to replicate what has been lost, or even do better than what has been lost. So with knowledge, the benefit of knowledge are enormous. For the individual, it brings fulfillment. So when you know, you are fulfilled because you are not scared by things that you should not be afraid of. You know how to do things in a short time, in that you know how to put things at the appropriate place. You know how to do things. You know how to, you would be glad to teach others. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, salaka tariqan, yaltamisu fi ilman, salallahu bihi tariqan lil jannah. That whoever seeks knowledge, whoever pursue knowledge, Allah will make it a means
Yes.
of him to gain paradise. So
Paradise. Yeah,
to
let me
know,
find
yes,
them.
to know is to be enlightened. To be enlightened is to do things in a better way. And then it is with knowledge that you see nations are built. Nations are built. You know, when we look at great nations today, they don't just, it's not just a magic. It's not just something that just came up suddenly. It's because they invested in knowledge. They invested in knowledge of their citizens. We look at China, we look at Singapore, we look at Malaysia, uh, who has some of the best PhD, what is it called? PhD, best
Teach.
postgraduate studies in the world. So you see all those nations, they rose to this position because of the values they put in knowledge, because they don't joke with knowledge. It's a pity that our students in Nigeria are on strike for months, and then you have this like that, time wasted and the likes. So the benefits of knowledge is that it makes you to even recognize God. It makes you to know that beyond all these things, there's someone who is there. There's someone who controls everything. Because you know that you cannot, for someone to build a car, to build a car or to make a car, you know, it takes different stages, different levels. So it makes you to be self-aware, to recognize your Lord, to know how to worship Him. Farifuni qabla an ta'budun. Like the hadith will put this, know me before you worship me. So
No,
knowledge is there. You have to know your Lord before you worship.
worship. Yeah.
So if you don't know Him, how would you? Okay, if
How we should worship.
how would you worship me? So if you don't know your Lord, how would you worship your Lord? So someone might be holding a paddle inside a canoe, and he does not know how to paddle. The person will eventually sink inside the river because he does not know the essence of what he's holding. So knowledge is like our fortress. Knowledge is essential for us to be able to live a meaningful life, for us to leave impact, to impact other people in life, to make necessary and important contributions to life. So you can see with knowledge, we are talking about all this technological advancement, all this technological advancement that makes our life easier. Okay, before our mothers watch, they watch with their hands. We use napkin. They use napkin to tie the bum of the children. They wash it severally in a day. Or someone out of knowledge, because of the knowledge Allah has given the person and the person's priority and the strive. Some people, they built a washing machine for us. They built this dishwasher. Now our wives they don't want to pound yam again. They are looking for they are looking for automatic machine that will pound something for them. Some
Yeah.
persons are behind
Yeah.
those creations. They are building things that makes life easier for us. So as we want to build things that makes life for us, as knowledge makes us to progress in life. So many things that kills us before, polio and the likes. Before they will
Yeah.
say, before children die, the mortality rate was high, and then At a
Yeah.
point when knowledge goes, this is what causes it, they
Usually
prevent it.
the abiquary.
Uh,
They
uh-huh.
get your
So
abiquary.
before, when we have children joined together in a mother's womb, they eventually die. Major or even the parent, the mother dies. But now we have technology that will take away the baby safely, uh, separate the baby, and then we can even have both babies, both children living. So it is with knowledge that will improve science, that will correct some of the things we have in our culture that are not like before. Before I think in Nigeria, I think they were killing twins. It was
Yeah.
knowledge that made them. Yeah, it was with knowledge
So
that they stopped killing twins. That
maybe
okay, we
stress
not.
or something like that.
So knowledge make us give us fulfillment in life, and it helps us when we have the religious knowledge. It helps us to live in a way that makes life progressive and makes life also meaningful for others, and make us hopeful of Allah's reward and Allah's blessings in the hereafter.
Zakunlai Khan, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. I enjoyed the lecture and I've learned a lot of things, and I'm sure that our audience too, they've learned a lot of things. Also, if you have any question, you can ask us, ask our speaker the question. If you have any question, kindly note them in the comment section. If you have any question, let me give you.
Please give me a minute. Let me.
No problem,
Please,
sir.
can you give me a minute?
No problem,
Okay.
sir. No problem, sir. No problem, sir. So, if you have any question before our speaker comes, you can ask. You can type your question in the comment section. So, yeah, because we'll be leaving soon. Like, of course, we'll be leaving now. If you have any question, you can type it. Let the speaker answer. Let our speaker answer the question. So, in the absence of no question, so we'll be okay. Before we'll be meeting again by 3 p.m., where our fathers will be discussing the role of fathers in parenting. So one of the what I love about today's section is that the men are coming in to discuss about parenting, because most of the time, if you enter, like for example, if you join a parenting group today, you find women like mothers in those groups. We hardly see father joining parenting groups or doing.
Now, someone.
Walaikum salam. So we hardly see fathers joining all these parenting groups. It's very, very rare for me to see fathers to join any parenting group. So it's more of not women seeking knowledge about how to relate with their children. So I so much love today's sections, because we are having fathers are coming in to discuss topics that revolve around parenting. So by 3 p.m., we will be having a panel section by our speakers, our male speakers, discussing the role of fathers. And I hope to see fathers like more male in this section. I'm not just seeing you online. Engage in all this, like engage while the speakers are discussing discussing this topic or answering questions. We must engage. Let's see further, like how I put it, just like our speaker said, he said fathers must, where is the, I think I noted this somewhere, that they should take the lead in the affairs of their own. So we are looking forward to seeing fathers in the next section. Now, thank you very much, Jazakumullah khairan, sir. We really appreciate it. Mr. Ibrahim Dima, thank you for
I mean,
being
I mean, and then there is one poem we used to recite when we were in primary school. Then they say, and this goes to our parents then. So because we used to recite it, I think during the end of the term or end of the session celebration, we say it goes in Yoruba. Ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀, ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé tàwa iṣẹ́. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló gbé ní dépò gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló gbé ní dépò ọlá.
yeah.
Ẹ̀dá fún ẹ̀yin òbí wa, tẹ̀bá ló kẹfì ṣètò wa. So our parents, the point is just to plead to our parents that
knowledge is what rules the world. Knowledge is what makes the world go round. Knowledge is what sustains us and sustains the world. So if you have money, spend it in our in educating us, in making us a better learned citizens and a better person for our benefit and for the benefit of the society. And I pray may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to make to increase our parents' sustenance and to make them to be able to take cognizance and take good care of their parents' education. It's something that we can't just play about, because even when we are dead, one of the things that meets us in the hereafter, that meets us, one of the benefits out of the three things that meet us, is a righteous child. You train in knowledge that you leave behind, and then again, what you teach people, you benefited from your knowledge, and they are making yes, and they are getting something from the knowledge. So the child also is part of your sadaqatul jariyah. It's part of your the things you are expecting to gain something from when you've left this world. So when you teach the child, as the child benefits from that knowledge, or with that knowledge, the child teaches his own children. So you get a reward. So as the child teaches others, benefit others, you're getting reward. The child will supplicate for you, will pray for you, you're getting reward. So those are part of the importance also of knowledge, of teaching our children. May Allah make them grow to become pious and to become good and better ambassadors for themselves, for us, and the society. I mean,
no, Zakumla can answer. So in the absence of no question, we'll be meeting by 3 p.m. So the section will be
inshallah.
ending now. So we want to thank all our audience, our active audience. I can see one of our active audience here, Arowo Romo Fauzia, Sister Fauzia. I can see someone, her name is Facebook user. She has been very active yesterday. She has been engaging and engaging and contributing. So thank you very much. We recognize every one of you. Thank you for joining the program. So we'll be leaving now. We'll be leaving in the name of the most beneficent and the most merciful. We also meet you by 3 p.m. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Bye.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, jazakumullah khair.
Now, sir.